Muscle grows in recovery. Muscle doesn't grow. You break it down in the workout. It's growing in the recovery. And after you stimulate a muscle in a workout, I think that's one thing that people don't understand. They're like, I want my glutes to be bigger, or I want to like tone my abs, or I want to tone my arms. And so they'll do arms every day, or they'll do glutes every day. And that's the last thing you need to be doing, because you have to give your body enough recovery. Otherwise, you're just going to spiral yourself into chronic inflammation. You're going to end up not building muscle because your body's not going to build the muscle if it doesn't have the proper recovery.
Okay, she makes some great points. I agree with her. That's why for Booty by Bret, with my Glute Lab, Glute Squad clients, we train glutes 3 times a week, typically Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Some of them come Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and it works well. I got no problem with what she says. You need to be recovered. Why? Because otherwise you won't gain strength. If you do too much, train too often, you will spin your wheels and you won't get stronger. So you won't grow the muscle much because you won't be able to utilize progressive overload. Now there's one thing I do wonder about. What if, say, 5-6 days a week you did like 2 to 3 sets of hip thrusts, 2 to 3 sets of kickbacks, and 2 to 3 sets of like abduction, like especially like band kickbacks and band abduction. And you're only working the various glute subdivisions at very short muscle lengths. You're not creating any muscle damage. So if you don't have the damage, you don't have to repair. You don't direct any of the body's resources towards repairing damaged muscle. It can all be used for just growing muscle. Would this be a very effective way of growing the glutes? I do think it would, especially as a beginner, but I don't see anyone doing a study on this. I do think you could though. I think I could take a group of women and train them for like an entire year and give them hip thrusts 5 or 6 days a week. Low volume, just 2 to 3 sets, get them freakishly strong at all the different hip thrust variations. Because at my gym, I could give them rotisserie, I could give them thruster pro, I could give them pause reps, I could give them bar plus band. You could vary the rep ranges. You could go knee banded hip thrust sometimes and induce a lot of variety, but always with the focus on getting stronger from week to week. And at the end of the year, they'd have freakishly strong hip thrust and very big glute muscles. That would be a very unconventional way of training. You can look at some athletes with great glute development, some volleyball players, hockey players, baseball players. A lot of them are playing their sport every day, but they're lifting weights several times a week. I do think it is possible to get away with greater frequencies if you're performing exercises that work you at short muscle lengths, but there's not much research on this. It's just a theory, needs to be tested in the literature. Maybe I'll do a study one day on it. Regardless, what she says is true. Don't annihilate a muscle every single day. You will go backwards. I'm Bret Contreras, aka the Glute Guy.